All right, so are you ready to dive into some serious marketing gold?
I am.
You guys sent in a ton of Alen Sultanic's posts.
Yeah.
And you're looking for the real, like, game-changing stuff, right?
Yeah.
The things that can actually, like, move the needle in your business.
Yeah.
And, oh boy, are we in for a treat.
We are.
This guy has built multiple million-dollar businesses. And this isn't just some, like, theory. This is all, like, battle-tested stuff.
Yeah, what I love about Alen is that he doesn't just tell you what works. He actually goes into the why.
Yes.
Like, he goes deep into, like, buyer psychology.
Yeah.
And that's what makes his advice so powerful and applicable to any business.
Right. And one of the things that really stood out to me when I was going through all of his posts was this emphasis on the power of words.
Yeah.
Like, he's saying that literally changing a single word in your copy can make a huge difference in your conversion.
Absolutely. And he highlights some that are really unexpected,
Yes.
like words you wouldn't think would make a huge difference, like install in 2024,
Right.
and even duplicate.
Okay, duplicate. I've got to admit, I was a little skeptical about that one at first.
Yeah.
But then he gave this example about a restaurant ad.
Oh, yeah, the restaurant ad.
Just adding the word duplicate to
Yeah.
their ad copy increased their conversion rate by like 64%.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, and doubled their qualified leads.
And what's interesting is that this ad actually mentioned the price,
Right,
which typically you wouldn't think would work well
You would think it would scare people away,
Yeah.
but no, it actually performed better
with that one word.
with duplicate in it.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the magic behind these words?
So it really comes down to our psychology.
Okay.
So for example, when you use a word like in 2024, it creates this like sense of urgency and relevance. Like you're offering something that's cutting edge and timely.
So you're not like behind the times.
Exactly.
Got
And
it.
then you've got a word like install, which implies ease and simplicity.
Okay.
It makes it sound effortless for the customer.
Okay, got it. So what about duplicate then?
That's a good one. It kind of suggests like a proven system.
Okay.
It's kind of like saying, hey, this already works, so you don't really have to worry about the risk. So it removes that fear of the unknown that a lot of buyers have.
Yeah, it's like someone else has done this and it works, so I can too.
Exactly.
That's so interesting. I'm now thinking about all the words in my own marketing that I could test and play around with. What about you? Like, as you're listening, are there any words popping into your head that you're like, ooh, I could tweak that and maybe get some better results?
Yeah, for sure.
So Alen also challenges this traditional approach of focusing just on features and benefits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And he says that, like, at the core, every marketer or expert is really selling their capacity.
Capacity. I don't know. I'm not sure I fully grasp that one.
Okay, so think of it this way. It's not just about what you're selling. It's about your ability to actually deliver results.
Okay.
So it's your capacity to generate leads or attract clients or help businesses scale.
So you're shifting the conversation from just transactional
Yeah.
to like value-based.
Okay, so instead of saying, hey, buy my course, I'd be saying something like, I've helped this many people achieve this specific result.
Exactly. You're showcasing your ability to solve their problems and deliver the outcomes that they desire.
Okay.
And speaking of potential problems, Alen also stresses the importance of acknowledging risk
Okay.
in your sales process.
So a lot of people, they shy away from that, right?
Yeah.
They just want to focus on all the good things.
Yeah, they only want to focus on the positive.
So why? Why bring up the negative?
Well, because ignoring the risk actually creates this like subconscious friction for the buyer.
Okay.
Because everyone is talking about the amazing results, but when you fail to address the potential downsides, it can actually make people hesitate.
Right.
It feels inauthentic and they're like, what are they not telling me?
That makes sense. So how can I like subtly address the risks associated with what I'm selling without scaring people away?
Well, Alen suggests offering like a safety net.
Okay.
Like a simple phrase as, you can always go back.
Yeah.
It reassures the customer that they're not trapped, and it really reduces the perceived risk.
So by saying, hey, you can always go back to where you were before, they actually feel more comfortable going forward.
Yeah.
That's pretty counterintuitive,
It is.
but also kind of brilliant.
It is. It's about creating a sense of security and control for the customer.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next part is where Alen really goes deep into the psychology of persuasion.
Oh, yeah.
He's talking about targeting specific customer mind states
Mind stakes.
with tailored language.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
So you know how demographics tell us about people's age, gender, and location?
Right.
Psychographics is like taking it a step further.
Okay.
It's about understanding their values, beliefs, attitudes, motivations. And then mind states within that are really about where your customer is mentally and emotionally
Okay.
in relation to your product or service.
So are they curious? Are they ready to buy?
Exactly. Are they skeptical? Are they frustrated? Each mind state requires a different approach.
So you're saying it's not a one-size-fits-all approach to marketing.
No.
You have to tailor the message
Okay.
based on where they are in their journey.
Precisely. And he gives a really good example about how to target frustrated customers.
Oh, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So he suggests using language that mirrors their complaints and blame.
Okay.
When someone's frustrated, they are looking for validation.
Right.
So if you match their language patterns, it creates an instant connection and it makes them feel heard.
So if someone is complaining about how expensive other solutions are, I could acknowledge that in my copy.
Yes.
It's like, are you tired of being ripped off by overpriced tools?
Exactly. You're speaking to their pain point
Yeah.
and positioning yourself as the solution.
Yeah.
And I've got a really good example for you.
Okay.
One of Alen's students, Dimitri, used this very approach, and he landed a $15,000 a month client from just a $150 ad spend.
Okay, that is incredible. $150,000 to $15,000 a month. That's the kind of ROI we all dream of.
That's amazing, right?
So this just shows the power of matching language to your customer's mind state.
It's great.
You're creating a smoother conversion flow because you're speaking directly to their emotional state.
Yes.
Now, okay, so as I'm listening to all of this, the big question that's coming up for me is, how do I figure out my ideal customer's mind state in the first place?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that we'll definitely explore further. But for now, let's move on to another area where Alen excels,
Okay.
and that's boosting show-up rates for webinars and calls.
Yes.
So you know how frustrating it is to put all this effort into planning a webinar or a call,
Yeah.
and then nobody shows up?
Yeah. It's like, where's the love? But really, show-up rates are crucial.
Yeah.
So what is Alen's secret sauce for getting people to actually show up?
He calls it the expectation, anticipation, excitement framework. So it's all about building this psychological journey for your audience that leads to a packed event.
Okay, I'm liking this already.
So you start by setting the stage
Okay.
by creating expectation.
Okay.
You give them a little taste of what they're going to learn, the transformation they can achieve.
Okay.
And then you ramp up the anticipation by teasing valuable bonuses or revealing exclusive content that they'll get by attending live.
I'm getting excited just listening to you describe this.
I know.
So what about that last stage?
That's where you ignite excitement.
Okay.
You remind them about the limited time nature of the event, the community they'll be joining, and the incredible energy of a live experience.
I like it.
And Alen actually gives you a script that you can use
Oh, nice.
to implement this.
Awesome. Okay, so we've got people showing up now. How do we get them to say yes to those irresistible upsells?
Yes, the art of the upsell.
Yeah.
Alen has a rather unconventional approach here.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on what the customer gains by upgrading, he flips it.
And he emphasizes what they lose by not taking action.
Wait, so instead of highlighting the amazing bonus features and all that,
Yeah.
I should be talking about what they'll miss out on if they don't get it.
Exactly.
That seems kind of counterintuitive.
It does, but it's incredibly effective.
Okay.
He calls it the you won't angle.
Okay.
So by framing the offer in terms of loss, you trigger FOMO,
Ah, yes.
fear
Yeah.
of missing out.
It's a real thing.
It is a real thing, and people get really susceptible to it.
So how do I use this you won't angle in my upsells? Give me an example.
Okay, so let's say you're offering a course on how to write killer sales copy.
Okay.
Instead of just saying, get the VIP upgrade for access to my private swipe file,
Yeah.
you could say something like, if you don't upgrade to VIP, you won't have access to my proven templates that have generated millions in sales.
Ooh, yeah.
Do you see the difference?
I do. It's a lot more powerful.
It is.
It's not just some extra thing.
Oh, I'm going to miss out on something big if I don't do this.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be trying this one.
It works.
What about pricing?
Pricing.
I always struggle with finding that sweet spot.
Yeah, it's tough.
Do you have any advice?
Alen has some really good insights into pricing.
Okay.
He calls them pricing inflection points. These are specific price thresholds where customer resistance tends to kick in.
So like psychological barriers when it comes to price.
Yes.
Okay.
And what's interesting is that men and women have different ones.
Really?
For men,
Okay.
those inflection points are $100, $1,000, $10,000, and $100,000.
Wow.
And for women, they are $30, $300, $3,000, and $30,000.
That is so interesting. Those numbers make so much sense.
I know.
I can see why those jumps would give me pause.
Totally. So the key is to be aware of these psychological barriers and then price your offers accordingly.
Okay.
So Alen suggests testing different price points around these thresholds
Got it.
to find that sweet spot.
Okay, so shifting gears a bit.
Sure.
Let's talk about Alen's take on freelancing.
Yes.
He has this fresh perspective on choosing services based on what he calls consumables versus non-consumables. Okay, I'm all ears. Break it down for me.
Okay, so think of consumables as services that clients need repeatedly.
Right.
It's like you're offering a subscription to your expertise. Non-consumables are like one-off projects
Right.
with a defined endpoint.
So a consumable service would be something like ongoing coaching
Yes.
or monthly website maintenance.
Uh-huh.
A non-consumable would be like designing a logo
Yes.
or writing like a one-time sales letter.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
And Alen argues that focusing on consumable services is a smarter strategy for freelancers,
Right.
because it creates a more stable and predictable income stream.
Recurring revenue.
Recurring revenue.
That's the holy grail
Yes, it is.
for freelancers.
Yes.
Okay, so Alen actually tells this story about two freelancers.
Yeah.
One focuses on hourly consulting,
Yes.
which is consumable, and he is absolutely thriving.
Killing it.
And then the other freelancer is struggling to land those one-off projects,
The non-consumable.
those non-consumables, exactly.
Yeah.
And constantly faces those like feast or famine cycles.
Yeah, it's tough.
It makes a lot of sense.
It does.
So I'm already thinking about how I can package my services into a more consumable format. So Alen also briefly touches on his clean Bizop model,
Yeah.
which is essentially about packaging real-world trade skills
Yeah.
into online courses or programs.
Exactly. So instead of being a plumber,
Okay.
you teach people how to become plumbers through an online course.
Okay, that's a really interesting idea.
Yeah,
So you're leveraging your expertise and you're
Yes.
creating a scalable business.
exactly.
But Alen stresses it's not just about making a quick buck. He emphasizes choosing a business model that actually provides real value and helps people
Yeah.
rather than just exploiting trends.
He's big on building a sustainable business with integrity.
I like that.
Yeah.
So he believes that success should be built on a foundation of ethical practices that benefit both the entrepreneur and the customer.
I agree with that.
Me too. And speaking of ethical practices, let's talk about Alan's approach to something he calls positive admittance. This sounds intriguing.
It's a very clever way of using language
Okay.
to subtly influence beliefs
Okay.
and guide customers toward a desired action.
I'm hooked. Give me an example.
Okay, so imagine you're selling copywriting services.
Okay.
You could use positive admittance by saying something like, every good copywriter knows how to close. And then follow it up with, if you can't close, it's not copy, it's just content.
Whoa.
Right.
So you're planting the seed of doubt by implying that if their copy isn't closing, it's not actually good enough. And then you position your service as the solution.
Exactly.
Okay, I see what's happening.
That's powerful.
It's very sneaky, but also very smart.
And you can apply it to so many different things.
Oh, yeah.
Headline sales pages?
It's like speaking directly to their subconscious.
Totally.
Now, you mentioned earlier that Alen has some unique insights into something called time and funnel optimization.
Yes.
What exactly is that and why is it important?
So this is all about making the customer journey as smooth and frictionless as possible. So the idea is that the more decisions a customer has to make in a funnel, the more likely they are to experience decision fatigue.
Too many choices can be paralyzing.
They are.
Okay.
So Alen advocates for streamlining your funnel
Okay.
and removing any unnecessary decision points.
So less is more.
In a lot of cases, yes. The less mental energy they have to expend,
Yeah.
the higher the likelihood of conversion.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm all about simplifying things.
Me too.
Let's talk bonuses.
Okay, bonuses.
I feel like I'm throwing darts in the dark when it comes to creating bonuses that people actually want.
It's tough to know.
Yeah. So, do you have any advice?
Alen has a great approach.
Okay.
He suggests you focus on identifying the customer's biggest because.
The biggest because.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I follow.
Okay, so ask yourself, what's the reason they are hesitant to buy?
Okay.
What's holding them back? What's
Yeah.
their because for not taking action? Once you've identified that,
Okay.
you can tailor your bonus to address it directly.
Okay, that makes sense.
So if someone says, I can't run Facebook ads because I don't know how to write converting copy,
Okay.
your bonus should focus on overcoming that specific obstacle.
Okay.
So you could offer something like the $1 million Facebook ad template.
Yeah.
Provide them with a proven framework and examples,
Got it.
and eliminate their fear of writing copy.
It's about removing that barrier to entry.
Yes.
He is a marketing ninja.
He is.
Like, I'm starting to think there's nothing this guy hasn't thought of.
Yeah, he's good.
And speaking of thinking big, let's delve into his insights on the Bizop market. He breaks down the success of any Bizop into 3 core factors:
3.
mechanism, economics, and competition. Okay, so let's break those down one by one. What does he mean by mechanism?
So the mechanism refers to how the offer actually works.
Oh.
Is it a course? Is it a service? Is it a physical product? Is it a membership site?
Got it.
It's the structure and delivery of the value that you're providing.
So economics is all about the numbers, right?
That's that.
Profit margins, all that good stuff.
Understanding the financial viability of the opportunity.
I'm guessing that's how crowded the market is?
Yes. How many other players are offering similar products or services? How saturated is the market?
Okay, so Alen is saying that before jumping into any Bizop, I need to really carefully consider these three factors.
Yeah.
The mechanism of the economics of the business and the level of competition.
Yes, that's a really good framework.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And speaking of investing,
Okay.
let's talk about Alen's insights into pricing strategy. Pricing is always a challenge for me.
It is.
There's so much conflicting advice out there.
I know, right?
What's his take?
Alen suggests a really interesting approach based on what he calls tiers of persuasion. So he identifies 4 distinct price tiers.
Okay.
And for each tier,
Yeah.
you need to focus on a different element of persuasion to effectively convert customers.
Okay, 4 tiers of persuasion. I'm liking this already.
Okay, so he starts with the most affordable tier,
Wait.
products or services priced between $30 and $100. At this level, the key is to provide a compelling reason to buy. So it's not about being the cheapest, it's about demonstrating that the value outweighs the cost. Then we move up to the next tier, the $300 to $1,000 range.
Okay.
Now here you need to shift your focus to differentiation.
Oh.
You need to convince customers that your offer is better than the competition.
Right. So I need to articulate what makes my product or service stand out.
What makes you the superior choice?
Yeah, what's my special sauce?
Yes, your unique selling proposition.
Okay, what about the next tier up?
Now this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
This is the $3,000 to $10,000 range.
Right.
Here, Alen says the focus shifts to what he calls identity work.
That sounds deep.
It is.
What does that even mean?
So it's about tapping into the customer's desire to be seen a certain way. It's about associating your offer with a specific identity or status that they aspire to.
So it's not just about the product or service itself.
No.
It's about the image and the feeling that it projects.
Think about luxury brands like Rolex or BMW.
Yeah.
They're not just selling watches or cars. They're selling prestige, exclusivity, and a sense of belonging to a select group.
I see what you're saying.
Right.
It's very aspirational.
It is.
So I could use this approach
Yeah.
to position my high-end coaching program as a gateway to becoming like a thought leader or an industry expert.
Exactly. So you're aligning your offer with their aspirations and desires. And at this price point, the relationship with the seller also becomes really important.
Because people are more willing to invest larger sums of money with someone they know, like, and trust.
Exactly.
Right.
It's about building that connection, establishing your expertise, and demonstrating your commitment to their success.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the highest tier? Those big ticket offers over $10,000. What's the key to selling at that level?
Alen says that at the highest tier,
Yeah.
it's all about creating a powerful emotional connection. It's about understanding the customer's deepest desires and fears.
Okay.
Crafting a message that resonates with them on a soul level.
Wow, that is intense.
It is.
So it's about going beyond logic
Yes.
and tapping into their heart.
And this often involves addressing their fears of failure,
Yeah.
rejection, or not living up to their potential.
This is fascinating.
It is.
It's like you're peeling back the layers of the human psyche
Yeah.
and revealing the secrets to persuasion.
Yeah.
Alen also talks about a technique called different perspective downsells.
So this is a clever way to re-engage customers
Okay.
who have initially declined your upsell offer.
So it's like a second chance
Yeah.
to make the sale?
Kind of.
Okay.
But instead of just lowering the price
Okay.
or offering a payment plan, Alen suggests reframing the offer to highlight what the customer loses
Okay.
by not taking action.
So it's like that you won't angle we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But applied to the downsell.
Exactly. So instead of focusing on what they're missing out on by not upgrading,
Yeah.
you emphasize the negative consequences of staying where they are.
So instead of saying, hey, you missed out on this great opportunity,
Yeah.
I might say something like, if you don't invest in yourself now, you'll continue to struggle with X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
They're reframing their decision in terms of the pain
Yes.
they'll experience by not taking action. This is good stuff. All right, let's shift gears a bit and talk about Alen's insights on building trust, which is obviously crucial for
Great.
any successful business.
Yeah, people need to know that they can rely on you before they're going to buy from you.
Right.
So Alen suggests that that most people go about building trust the wrong way.
Oh, really?
They focus too much on showcasing their authority, their credentials, their social proof.
So like testimonials, logos of big companies they've worked with, endorsements from famous people.
All of that. And while those things have their place, Alen argues that true trust is built through vulnerability.
That seems counterintuitive.
It does.
I want to project this image of strength and success.
You might think so.
Okay.
But he believes that being open and honest about your own struggles and failures actually creates a much deeper connection with your audience.
Okay.
So instead of pretending to be perfect,
Right.
you should be willing to share your mistakes and lessons learned.
So it makes you more relatable.
Exactly. It shows them that you're human.
Yeah.
That you face challenges, that you understand their pain points.
So you've been there.
And this resonates far more deeply than simply showcasing your successes.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Vulnerability can actually be a strength.
It's a superpower.
Okay, now, Alen also talks about different types of customers. He mentions automatic buyers, research buyers, and duration buyers.
Yeah.
Can you explain the difference between those three?
Absolutely. So automatic buyers are impulsive
Okay.
and they're driven by emotion.
Okay.
They make quick decisions
Right.
and they're often attracted to scarcity and limited time offers.
Got it.
Research buyers, on the other hand, are more analytical
Okay.
and they need a lot of information before making a purchase.
Okay.
They love data testimonials, proof of results.
Oh,
And then finally, duration buyers are patient and willing to wait for the right opportunity.
okay.
They're often looking for long-term solutions,
Okay.
and they value stability and reliability.
So how do I use this knowledge to like tailor my marketing messages?
Well, by understanding the motivations and decision-making process of each type, you can craft targeted messages that resonate with their specific needs.
Okay.
So for automatic buyers, you might emphasize scarcity and urgency. For research buyers, you'd focus on providing data and evidence.
And for duration buyers, you'd highlight your track record and your commitment to long-term support.
So it's like segmenting your audience and tailoring your approach based on their buying style.
Precisely.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Now, Alen also emphasizes the importance of customer retention.
Yes.
He makes a really great point that most offers focus heavily on acquisition.
Getting new customers in the door.
Right, like getting those new leads.
Yeah.
But they neglect the crucial aspect of retention. Keeping those customers coming back for more.
So important.
I'm definitely guilty of that.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in chasing those new leads that I forget to nurture the relationships that I already have.
Yeah, you've got to take care of your existing customers.
So what does Alen suggest that we do to create a more loyal customer base?
He's a big advocate for what he calls upsell softeners. Then those like aggressive upsells that make you feel pressured into buying something you don't need. Okay, so what are they?
So upsell softeners are all about reducing friction and making the buying experience as pleasant as possible.
Okay, I like that.
So it's about creating a win-win situation where the customer feels valued and appreciated, even if they choose not to upgrade.
So how do I actually implement these upsell softeners? Like, give me some examples.
Okay, so let's say you're selling an online course. You could offer a bonus specifically designed to enhance the value of the initial purchase, even if they don't buy the upsell. Or you could provide exceptional customer support that goes above and beyond what's expected.
It's like making the customer feel good about their decision, regardless of whether they spend more money.
Exactly.
And happy customers are more likely to come back.
They are.
For more.
Exactly. Alen is a firm believer in playing the long game. Building a sustainable business is about creating raving fans.
I love that.
Who love what you do and can't wait to buy from you again and again. Speaking of creating raving fans, let's talk about Alen's insights on copywriting and messaging.
I am here for this.
Alen stresses the importance of clarity and simplicity in your messaging. He's a big advocate for avoiding jargon.
Oh, thank God.
And using language that is easy for anyone to understand.
Yeah, no more confusing industry buzzwords.
He also encourages a show don't tell approach.
Okay.
So instead of just telling your audience about the benefits of your offer, you need to show them.
Show them proof.
Show them examples.
Testimonials, case studies.
Case studies, real world examples.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Back up your claims.
Perfect.
And he also emphasizes the power of sensory words that appeal to the reader's senses.
So like using vivid descriptions that paint a picture.
Exactly. Create an immersive experience with your words. And of course, he's a big proponent of using power words.
Okay, so what about writing ads?
Ads.
I feel like mine just gets scrolled right past.
It's tough.
Online, like nobody even reads them.
It's hard to get attention.
Do you have any tips?
Alen has some really good ones.
Okay.
So he says to focus on digestibility.
Digestibility.
Yeah, make your ads easy to scan and understand.
So no more big blocks of text.
Exactly.
Okay.
Use short paragraphs, bullet points.
Yeah,
Strong visuals to break up the text and make it more inviting.
I like that. Okay.
Make it easy on the eyes.
Now, Alen also talks about a concept called generalized negatives and personalized positives.
Yes.
Can you explain what that means?
Okay, so this is all about using language in a way
Yeah.
that avoids making the customer feel personally attacked. So Alen suggests that when you need to highlight a negative, you should generalize it rather than directing it at the individual.
So instead of saying, you're making this mistake, I would say many people make this mistake.
Exactly. It softens the blow
Yeah.
and removes that personal sting. And then when you do need to address the customer directly, Alen recommends using positive and uplifting language.
So it's about framing things in a way that empowers them rather than makes them feel defensive.
Precisely.
Okay.
It's about being encouraging and supportive, even when you're addressing areas where they might need improvement.
That's a good reminder.
Yeah.
And this all ties back to that idea of matching language to mind states, right?
Yes.
Using language that aligns with where they are emotionally. Let's talk about another one of Alen's key concepts,
Yeah.
creating a market message match.
Market message match.
What is that all about?
So it's the idea that your message needs to resonate perfectly
Oh.
with your target market.
Okay.
So it's about speaking their language.
Understanding their values
Yeah.
and addressing their specific needs and desires.
So I need to really get inside my ideal customer's head
Yes.
and figure out what makes them tick.
Exactly. And Alen gives this great example
Okay.
of how he analyzes headlines
Okay.
to identify any elements that might be creating friction.
Friction.
Yes, like things that are turning people off or making them hesitate.
Okay, so like maybe using the wrong words.
The wrong words.
Okay.
By breaking down the language
Yeah.
and understanding how it's being interpreted by the reader, he can pinpoint those areas that need improvement.
So it's about making sure my message is clear, compelling, and completely aligned with my target market.
Exactly.
I like it. And Alen also emphasizes the importance of simplifying your focus, especially when you're marketing to the masses. What does he mean by that?
Okay, so it's about identifying
Yeah.
the one core message
Okay.
that resonates most strongly.
With your target audience.
Right.
And then you make that the central theme
Got it.
of your marketing efforts.
So instead of trying to be everything to everyone,
Yeah.
I need to find that one thing
Mhm.
that makes me stand out and hammer that home.
Yes. He uses the analogy of car brands
Okay.
and their unique selling propositions.
Okay.
So American car brands often focus on horsepower and performance,
Okay.
while Honda emphasizes reliability and fuel efficiency.
Right. So it's about finding that key differentiator
Yes.
that sets you apart
Yes.
and communicating it clearly.
Clearly and concisely.
And concisely, yes. And this ties back to understanding your customer's mind state right.
It does.
Knowing what they value most will help you craft that message.
Yes.
Okay.
That truly resonates.
That makes sense. Now, Alen also talks about
Yes.
the importance of understanding the difference between long-term and short-term thinking.
Yes. This is important.
Okay, tell me more about this.
Alen says that most people are naturally inclined towards short-term thinking. They're looking for quick wins, immediate gratification, instant results.
I can definitely relate to that.
Right.
I'm always looking
For ways to get things done faster and see results sooner.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But Alen suggests that when you're marketing to these short-term thinkers,
Yeah.
you need to appeal to that desire for instant gratification.
Got it.
So use language that emphasizes speed, ease,
Yeah.
and immediate benefits.
You like those quick wins.
Exactly. But once they become customers,
Yeah.
Alen suggests shifting to a more long-term mindset.
So encourage them to think about the bigger picture and the lasting impact of what I'm offering.
Exactly. It's about helping them see beyond the immediate gratification
Okay.
and understand the true value of what you're offering. And speaking of value, Alen also dives deep into the psychology of customer emotions.
Emotions play such a big role in buying decisions.
They do.
I know I'm way more likely to buy something when I'm feeling excited or inspired.
Alen Sultanic, he says that most buying decisions are driven by emotion rather than logic. Even when people think they're being rational,
Yeah.
there's always an emotional component at play.
So I need to appeal to their heart as well as their head.
Exactly. And Alen points out an interesting phenomenon
Okay.
that happens after a customer makes a purchase. They often experience a dip in emotional energy.
Like a post-purchase come down.
Yes, and this can lead to buyer's remorse
Right.
or a feeling of emptiness.
Makes sense.
So Alen suggests that it's crucial to fill that void
Okay.
with positive reinforcement and ongoing support.
So instead of just leaving them hanging after they buy,
Yes.
I need to continue nurturing that relationship.
Exact.
Send them personalized messages.
Yeah.
Offer exclusive bonuses. Create a community where they feel connected and valued.
Yes, it's all about creating a positive emotional experience that keeps them coming back for more.
It's all about playing the long game. Building a business that is sustainable and profitable for years to come.
And speaking of building a sustainable business, let's move on to Alen's insights on the importance of understanding human psychology.
This is where it gets really juicy.
Right.
It's like he's giving us a secret decoder ring to understand what makes people tick.
And once you understand those underlying motivations, you can craft marketing messages that are incredibly persuasive. Alen is also a big believer in the power of building a strong personal brand.
Now, I've heard that phrase a lot, personal brand,
Yeah.
but I'm still not entirely sure what it means.
Okay, so think of it as the image and reputation you project to the world. It's about what people think of when they hear your name or see your content.
Okay.
And Alen says that in today's world, a strong personal brand is essential for success.
So it's not just about having a logo and a website.
No.
It's about cultivating a certain image and personality.
Exactly. People buy from people they trust and admire. And Alen encourages entrepreneurs to really lean into their unique voice and personality. Authenticity is key.
So instead of trying to be like everyone else, I should focus on what makes me different.
Exactly. Embrace your quirks, your passions, your unique perspective.
Okay.
And he even suggests studying celebrities
Oh, wow.
and how they cultivate their image and connect with their fans. It sounds a bit unconventional, but
Yeah.
it's about understanding the principles of charisma and influence.
So instead of just focusing on my products or services,
Yeah.
I should also be thinking about how I'm presenting myself to the world.
Precisely. It's about building a brand that people connect with on a personal level.
That makes sense.
And speaking of connections, Alen also has some interesting thoughts on mentorship.
Mentorship is so important. Having someone who can guide you and share their wisdom can be invaluable.
And Alen has a slightly different perspective on mentorship
Oh, really?
than what you might typically hear. He says to be wary of gurus who are constantly promoting their own products and services.
The ones who are always trying to sell you something.
Exactly. He suggests seeking out mentors who are genuinely invested in your success and who are willing to share their knowledge and experience without expecting anything in return.
So it's about finding someone who truly wants to help you grow without any ulterior motives.
Right. Alen believes that true mentorship is about giving back and helping others rise up.
Yeah.
It's about creating a legacy that extends beyond your own personal achievement.
I love that.
And speaking of creating a legacy, Alen also talks about the importance of choosing the right business model.
That's a huge decision. The business model you choose can really make or break your success.
And Alen says that some models are inherently more sustainable than others.
Okay.
He gives the example of clean Bizops,
Yeah.
which are focused on providing real value and solving real problems.
So it's about building a business that genuinely helps people
Yes.
and makes the world a better place.
He contrasts this with dirty Bizops, which often exploit trends or prey on people's insecurities.
Got it.
He encourages entrepreneurs to choose a model that aligns with their values
Yeah.
and that they can be proud of.
I like that.
And he also emphasizes the importance of being adaptable.
Being adaptable. What does he mean by that?
So the market is constantly changing.
Right.
And what worked yesterday might not work tomorrow.
That's the truth.
So Alen stresses the importance of staying ahead of the curve
Okay.
and being willing to experiment with new strategies and tactics.
So don't be afraid to pivot
Yes.
and try new things.
Embrace a growth mindset and always be learning and evolving.
I like that.
He even suggests setting aside time each week to explore new ideas and expand your knowledge.
That's good practice.
Now, as we wrap up this deep dive into Alen Sultanic's marketing wisdom, I'm curious, what are some of the biggest takeaways for you?
Wow, there are so many. I think one of the things that struck me most was his emphasis on understanding human psychology. It's not just about using tricks or tactics.
Right.
It's about genuinely connecting with people on a deeper level.
I agree.
And I also love his focus on building a strong personal brand. That's
Yeah.
something I'm definitely going to be putting more effort into.
Those are great takeaways. And what about you as you've been listening? What's resonated most with you? What are you going to implement in your own marketing efforts? words.
I think the idea of matching language to mind states is incredibly powerful. It's about meeting people where they are and tailoring your message to their specific needs and desires. And I'm also going to be paying more attention to those pricing inflection points.
Yes.
Knowing those psychological thresholds can make a big difference in how I price my products and services.
Absolutely. Alen's insights are a game changer when it comes to understanding the psychology of marketing and sales. And as we leave you with one final provocative thought, remember, Alen's challenge: most offers focus on acquisition, not retention.
So how can we use everything we've learned today to not only attract new customers, but also build a loyal following that generates repeat business? That's the real key to long-term success.